Yo, what's up, everybody? GM, happy Monday morning to you and you and you and you. If you guys had a fantastic weekend, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the heart wherever you're watching. If you're listening in the space, I see a couple of you down there. Y'all are more than welcome to come on up and chit chat today. Let's talk about the markets, talk about the weekend. What are we expecting today? Listen, man, I'm so pumped because of last night watching Ondo pump up to 214 after the news came out that basically the Trump organization, their World Financial, bought $250,000 of Ondo. That was massive. Sent that thing pumping to new all-time high. Man, it made like a whole bunch of new all-time highs yesterday. I just got into a long today shortly here. So we're going to see where this thing goes, man. It took a nice little fall from that point last night down to the, let's see, where did I get in at? 201.94, kind of where it's at right now. And so we'll see, we'll see what happens, man. I'm expecting some fireworks. I don't know about you guys. Let's chat about that. Expecting some fireworks when the TradFi boys fire up their machines today at 9:30. When the bell opens, I expect a nice little pop. We'll see. Could be wrong. Could go the other way, but it's a bull run, baby. And I was reminded of that last night. I put out a tweet saying I was expecting a bull run. What is this bullshit? And people said, be patient. People said, come on, all this stuff. And then obviously everything ripped last night. Bitcoin, what did it go to? Like 100 and let's look here. Guys, feel free to come on up to the stage here if you feel like chatting today. So last night, Bitcoin high 106,749. Damn. Man, oh man, we are just climbing up. So hopefully we'll see some fireworks today when the TradFi boys get back to work and they pump the market, pump our bags, please. Let's go. You guys wanted the TradFi guys. They're here. It is time. So anyway, it was great to see the markets kind of I really didn't get into I got a bunch of small trades, right? I think over the weekend I probably averaged 4 to 5 trades a day. Made a couple $100 each day, but it was like kind of like a weird trading activity where there wasn't big candles. Things were kind of just sitting stagnant. So it was nice to see some big movement last night. I don't know if anybody got into anything or bought any spot bags in the last dip, and you're hopefully seeing the reaping those rewards. We can take a look at some of the other coins, see what else is moving. I know that I talk a lot about Ondo, man. We created another CME gap. Mike Lowry dropping some heat. Let's take a look at that, and I'll share that screen with you guys. Let me make sure we're looking at the right thing. We'll switch it over to that right there. Bitcoin linear perpetual futures contracts. There's that one right there. We are looking for this right here, Bitcoin CME futures. So we did create a gap to the upside, though. Love that. Big fan of that. So we have no. I missed that. This is our gap right here. So we've got a downward gap. I see. We'll probably fill that. That seems reasonable. What does that take us to? I should get out of my long. Down 2%. I mean, that's really interesting. That's an interesting one. Mike, thank you for the information there, letting us know that we have a new gap. Huh. What's up, Hash? Welcome to the stage, my brother. We have another one right here. Not really. Man, all right. Well,
where was the gap? Sorry, I might have missed it on my way up.
So it looks like we are between 103,655 and I don't know where you measure this to, if it's like right here, like 102.75. So, I mean, like $1,000, a little bit more, $1,500-$1,600 is the gap.
I hope we close it this morning, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like that would make the most sense, just to like zoop, close that up. Or maybe it's strategic and we're leaving them all open now for us to stair step down to as the as the bear market begins, or as the it depends on how you look at it. I'm an eternal optimist, so I should say as the bull market winds down versus saying as the bear market starts. You're either half full or you're half empty. What are you feeling like today? Come on up here, Neil.
I'm feeling half full today.
I like that.
Feeling half full today.
Yeah.
Breaking news, although I don't know if it's actually that breaking, but Michael Saylor bought an additional $1.5 billion of Bitcoin.
This guy's buying too much. Can we talk about this? I think it's too much.
It's like I think it's every Sunday almost like clockwork now.
It's just a little too much. I think he's I think we should be concerned with him. I think that we might be in like stage 1, or this might be stage 2 hoarding. I know that there's a lot of different levels to hoarding statuses. You get the people on the show, that's like a stage 5. That's as bad as it gets. I think Saylor might be a 3, approaching stage 4. I don't know about you, what do you guys think about that? But I think that, he needs to tone it down a little bit. He's got too much. He'll have too much power. And he said that he's just going to
he has almost 500,000 Bitcoin. Holy fuck.
And it's really stupid. What he says is that, like, I believe there's no succession plan for it. So like when he dies, it's basically effectively like they get burned. Like no one has access to it, is what he said.
Hold on. That MicroStrategy doesn't have access to it. How is it on their books then?
Listen, I heard something. It was insane when I heard it. So it's one of those, maybe I've forgotten part of it. We could probably look it up. Let's see.
All I'm saying is like, what happens when your buying price is 100K, and I guess it doesn't matter. I guess you just keep holding it, huh?
His average entry is like 61 or something now, I think.
Oh, okay, so his average isn't 100K; it's the 60. Okay.
No,
that makes more sense. But
yeah, that's just what he bought over the weekend.
Okay. Well, all I'm reading now is saying that he's just going to donate it all, which is not what maybe I was crazy when I unheard that.
Or maybe he changed his mind.
Man, I feel like this was recently, though. I literally feel like this was very recently, like within the last month. I remember reading it.
So we've kind of already gotten to the point where people are like not buying. I say that people are still buying Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like everybody I talk to now is kind of getting to the point where they understand. You're not going to get that much more money out of Bitcoin at this point. It's going to take a lot more to make it move. But when does that even slow down even more? You know what I mean? Does Bitcoin just kind of become something that gets pushed to the side?
I mean, at some point, I feel like it's not the star of the show anymore. It can't be, right? Like the industry will outgrow what Bitcoin is, and it will always have the legacy. It will always be the king. It will always be all of that. But I mean, if you have to think about, the RWA ecosystem and where that's headed, that should be a larger market cap than Bitcoin. And I feel like, do you think Bitcoin will always have the largest market cap of all cryptos, or do you think something's going to overtake it at some point?
Man, I think something's got to overtake it at some point, like you're saying, with the real world assets. I mean, I don't know how you would apply that to Bitcoin, or how the Bitcoin market cap could get up that high. You know what I mean? I just don't see there's going to be a way for that much money to flow into it. It just doesn't make sense.
It's just all weird because like you got to understand, like the supply shock is what's going to really, when all these countries, I think there's like, I don't know, there's several of them now where I've seen the headlines. Who knows how true they are? Obviously, you guys know I probably make up half the stuff that I pretend I'm reading or whatever. That's a joke, but all these countries that want to have the strategic reserve and do what we're doing, I mean, that's going to be if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be a domino fall effect, right? Where as soon as we do it, if it's like a day one thing, or within the first 100 days, we like to say, and then all of a sudden these other countries start doing it, and you're going to see more and more start to do this. There's probably some that are doing it without saying anything. There's always, the money that they talk about, and there's always money that people don't talk about. And countries do the same thing. So at some point, when you hear like that $1 million Bitcoin, like that shit is going to be absolutely true because it will be so rare to get it. So get those full coins while you can. I know they're $100,000 and something a pop now, but do what you got to do.
I mean, I guess will it ever get to a point where like the volume will slow down? I guess is what I'm saying. Like when so many people own, so much of it, and there's less actual holders of one full Bitcoin. Does the volume slow down? Like, how does that work? I don't know.
I would think so. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, that would make the most sense because you've got obviously the volatility then shakes out when you've got more people with less, right? When you have more people with more, that's a little bit different, right? But when there's more people who have less, then it becomes a little bit more balanced. The volatility will surely go away. And it just will be, I don't know, man. What do you think the highest it'll ever be? Like multiple $1 million a coin? Isn't that that's nutty to think, but it's potential. Who thought that it'd be 106 right now? Or whatever it is. 104?
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe $1 million, maybe be the top one day. I don't know. That's crazy to think about.
Depends how much the dollar deflates.
Million?
Market cap for $1 million is 17 trillion and some change, I think.
That's not undual. It's not. I mean, it's at what, 2 trillion right now? Yeah.
Yeah, 1.7, something like that. I feel like gold is what?
Like 12 or 13,
30.
Isn't it? Let's look it up.
30 trillion.
Gold is not 30 trillion.
So silver's 2 trillion and gold is around 28 to 32 at times. I think it's 32 now.
You're probably talking
18?
your
Okay,
maple bucks,
sorry.
bro. It's 18 trillion. And
You're right. Fuck. You're right. Fuck.
Maple
Canadian
bucks.
maple money.
And
we're way off. We're way off
trillion.
right now. We're way off right now too.
So
that's 30. That's 30 trillion Canadian.
More, I think, these days. I think I saw someone, maybe Michael.
Yeah, we're about to lose our fucking shirts to you guys too, because Trudeau is not going to secure our borders. He's having fun with his little chessboard, and we're going to lose 25% off the top. We're going to be like 50 cents to the dollar by the first 100 days in office, man. It's going to suck, man. J Chains, you want to sponsor me, bro? My family's willing to come down. We'll be your slaves. We're already going to be your slaves, so we might as well just get the ball rolling and get us a little pool house or something, and we'll do your gardening, and
sounds like a win-win.
That's it for us up here, man. We're done.
Yeah.
You're about to have a bunch of Canadian slaves, or the 51st state.
Yeah, and I think you guys. What's his name? Trudeau's going to be the governor of that 51st state. That's wild. That's wild.
No. He's gonna get tarred and feathered for sure for losing our country. But yeah, we'll put in Pierre Polyev there. He's at least got a heart and a soul.
There you go. What do we think about the crypto markets? Enough about the politics. Fuck that shit.
Dude, man, I was up here just to say I told you so. And we're going to 112 today, baby. Today.
You think so?
We'll hang out there for probably a week or two. And off to 160 we go. It's euphoria time. What do you think so? I know so. I've been saying this for one.
I'm ready.
I've been saying this for one full year, at least. One full year. January 14th is the Bitcoin top. That's when everything is just and everybody, and you're gonna do it too. You're gonna tell everyone you're a genius and to buy more Bitcoin because we're going to 1 million.
I don't tell anybody.
That's how the emotional cycle. That's how the emotional cycle works. You will when you're a genius. When your 50x bags just rocket, you know what I mean? No, when you're a real genius, when you got $1 million to show in the bag after the cycle, when all your meme coins, your layer 2s, everything 50x's, and you're just like, what just happened, right? I'm a genius. Everybody look at this. It's going to the moon. Everyone's going to want to buy, and you're going to usher in 50, 60, maybe 100 new people. and that's contentment stage. Contentment lasts 2 or 3 months. Then we'll have our crypto winter. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. After we have this euphoria, we're going to have a little crypto winter. So guys, get prepared. The next month is your DCA out. We're going to have all-time highs after all-time highs after all-time highs. The same thing when you're DCAing down, you should be DCAing, taking profits out here. All right. Postman message done.
Mic drop. I mean, it's good. Like that's a tough psychological one, right? Because like the DCA up is very tough because you want to maximize and you want to just like everybody thinks like
maximizing is DCAing is maximizing. That's you're gonna miss
that's
somewhere.
Actually not maximizing.
Man, I've been through 4 or 5 cycles. I've been through 4 or 5 cycles and I've tried that strategy and it doesn't work, man. You either exit at the contentment stage, your emotions get the fucking best of you. I'm telling you, it's best to DCA out from 9 months to the 14-month point after all-time highs.
What were you saying, Ash?
The cycle looks the same every single time. 9 months after, I don't know. That's the strategy I'm taking this time around. If you want to maximize profits, January 14th.
True, Postmaster. The last halving, we didn't have our all-time high 9 months after the halving. We had our all-time high 18 months after the halving. What are you talking about?
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive, in fact. Would you like to do the math together? We can count it out.
I would love to see the data on that.
So April 2020 was the halving.
Okay.
Right? To April 2021 is 12 months. To October 2021 is 18 months, which was our all-time high last cycle. Would you like to count that again or no?
I'm just going to pull up the charts and take a look at that.
Sure, pull up the
every
chart.
time I've looked at it.
Yeah, the chart doesn't change, so we should be good.
Yeah, I honestly can't even think about selling until like if Ethereum's not an all-time high, are you going to sell?
Ethereum.
Like I can't justify selling before we hit an all-time high for Ethereum. At least our altcoins.
At least on your altcoins. I mean, that makes sense. What do you think? What do you think Ethereum's course of trajectory is going to be? Like, what are some of your entry or exit points? I suppose.
Conservatively for Ethereum, anywhere from 6,500 to 7,500. Bullishly, probably 8 to 10K.
I like the idea of 10K ETH, but I just don't know if it's going to get it, man.
You know what it reminded me
There's
of?
a lot of people saying, like, what is it? Van X said 6K on ETH.
See, I remember last cycle, Ethereum did fucking nothing forever. Everybody thought Ethereum's gone, it's dead, they're talking about all the other shit. And all of a sudden, Ethereum worked so damn hard, it pulled Bitcoin up with it. I remember, if you go back on my timeline, I have memes saying, like, we're pulling up Ethereum, Bitcoin with Ethereum. So I really do think that you're going to be boring for a while and then pull everything back up.
Send me the halving chart that you're using with the dates on it. I can't find a good one here.
What do you mean the halving chart? You're just going to Google.
It has the Bitcoin.
Like
It has the
April
Bitcoin
12th.
halving. It has the Bitcoin halving date with the chart of its price. That's how you would look at it, right?
Well, sure.
I thought you were just looking at it.
I think you
No,
might
I
have just been
wasn't
looking at
looking
like
at it.
trading.
I believe it was April 20th, 2020.
Bitcoin halving date 2020 was officially the 11th of May. So I apologize. I said the end of April, but 11th of May 2020. So my
Ooh, our
mistake.
top was in
17 months.
our top was in November, so I still put you at 18 months.
Shit, how about that? Sounds like more than 9 months to me. And we can go back one more too if you want to look at 2016 because it was also the same.
So what does that? So what does all that mean then? At the end of the day,
It means
That
that
means-
his theory. It means that his theory that all-time highs happen 9 months after the halving is untrue, based on the data. That doesn't mean it won't be true this time, but historically it has been untrue.
all right.
And he's been basing his premise that we should be selling, in the next month based on that 9 month theory. and I just think it's
So what is the
unfounded.
It would
strategy?
have to be different than it ever has been before.
So what's a different proposed strategy? Diamond hand? DCA?
No, I just think we're going to get another run in March.
I think the baseline strategy is correct. As much as I, don't think that it is the risk-on approach. I'm a risk-off kind of person, so I like the DCA in, DCA out strategy, and I will be doing that myself. My first profit-taking points might be in the next 30 days, depending on where price goes. I'm looking to take a lot off the table in Q1. But at the same time, I'm leaving the room for the possibility that we rip after the summer.
Yeah. I think that,
Just
I
like
think it's
we
going to
have in
be
the past.
I think we'll see a double top situation. I mean, I think that makes the most sense because we got so hot and heavy so fast is that we're going to rip up, we're going to cool off, and then we're going to rip up again. And then that after that second rip, that'll be the end of the cycle, right? If there is an end to the cycle, this may just be a thing that we do for a little while, right? Super cycle. This is some of y'all saying the biz.
Yeah, that Elio Trades guy, can't get that word super out of his mouth these days. So finally, I finally found that chart in a good picture format that I've been talking about with this whole end of December pump.
Uh-huh.
I posted up in the Jumbotron here. You can see in the past 2023 Q4, we did the same thing. 2024, is it possible that we do the same thing? I'm still looking for a good chart to compare. I know it's very similar from 2020 December because we also ripped. Starting on the 15th of December, actually, we started to rip. Between the 15th and the 25th, we went, I think, from 17 to 25,000 last December 2020.
So that's a pretty good percent gain. So that puts us probably like definitely in the teens, right?
I think higher. I don't know that we're going to get that same kind of gain. That's like a 40% gain, which puts us at 140. I'd love that shit, but I think that's maybe a little too green even for my pastures.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting now. It's when you think about Bitcoin and all that stuff, like, knowing like what it does, or at least what it did on a daily basis, as far as like following percentage wise and stuff, all of that, to scale totally changes now that it's like we're talking about $140,000 Bitcoin. Like, it's just interesting how all of that, the scaling of it changes, I suppose, when you're looking at percentages. All right, we are 6 minutes away from the morning bell, boys and gals. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here.
What's up, fucking YouTube people? Thanks for being the best YouTube community around. If you haven't retweeted, liked, and commented on the space like I did with my all-time high question mark, now's a great time to do that.
Darn
What's up,
right.
Beardo?
Darn right. Appreciate you, Hash. Guys, thank you so much. Absolutely, thank you for being here. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, you are more than welcome to. Can you guys hear? I think in the beginning, somebody said that nobody could hear anything about the space, but I think we're good now. So, if you guys want to participate in that space, you're more than welcome to. And if you're there and you're like, shit, I want to be a part of this conversation, all you gotta do is raise your hand, bring you on up. That's how we roll. Welcome to the Web3 Breakfast Club. That's what we are. It's a breakfast club. Did you get your coffee and your waffles? I recently went on a date with my wife. We went to the Waffle House, if you guys saw that post last week. And I will tell you, I have got like a newfound love for waffles. And so there's a buffet in the back of waffles and coffee if you need it. You got to bring your own syrup, though, unfortunately, because like I do the organic stuff, and
as long as it's not no table syrup and you bring that real maple syrup, you know what I mean?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get the nice stuff for myself, and I just hope that you guys would do the same thing for you and yourself. You know what I mean? So just BYOS, BYOM, bring your own maple.
This time we mean it, Beardo. What's up?
Everything, and I can definitely bring maple syrup. That's something that I can do. But I was just curious. So, I mean, like, not fighting in any way. I'm just curious what you guys think about like some of the stuff that's come up and like how it might affect Bitcoin. Just with like you had mentioned, countries kind of sucking up Bitcoin there, and like it's kind of becoming more centralized in that fact. And also, there's the quantum computing stuff there. My understanding is like Bitcoin can't be upgraded to kind of create a defense against quantum computing being able to like get keys and stuff like that. So, I mean, do you think that that will hurt Bitcoin eventually and maybe make it kind of obsolete to some extent? Like, not anytime soon or anything, but eventually?
I mean, you asked the question, and I think we're all sitting here thinking about that same answer. It's like if it's you can't defend against some of that kind of stuff happening. I mean, what do you do? But I would definitely one of these hands probably has a better answer than what I just gave. I know Hash had his up, and then we'll swing on over to Mike.
Well, if you look at El Salvador, and I think countries that are in a situation where they don't have leverage with the World Bank, they need leverage with the World Bank, double entendre style, like, they need the money, and also they don't have the power, and they can impose things like, hey, we'll loan you that money, but you need to stop buying Bitcoin. So I do think that there will be some kind of power dynamics that we're not used to seeing happen, whether that be from the World Bank or other, again, position of power people, which would put Bitcoin into the hands of, again, the richest countries, because they don't need necessarily that money from those banks. And that might be a problem. This is a whole uncharted territory, though, with, the Bitcoin ETFs, countries buying it, Trump in office. There could be that domino effect that Jay Chains was talking about earlier, where other countries are like, oh shit, well, if they're going to do that, we also need to do that. And thus, decreasing the supply even more. We get to that point where miners are now out of supply earlier in the cycle, and that could lead to, a squeeze on the price for sure. There is this, quantum computer thing that's been talked about. Satoshi did leave some kind of, message about that, where, oh shit, if that happens, like, we'll need to fork the bit. Again, I'm not a technical expert here, but we'll need to fork the Bitcoin chain, and there would be some work that would need to be done there to combat the quantum computing issue. However, I still think that we're pretty far away from that, from the things that I've heard. That being said, if you have $1 million in a wallet that is available and publicly tracked, maybe split that shit up just in case. There is definitely some risk associated with quantum computing, but I don't think that we're quite there yet.
You think having a cold storage wallet is going to help you from quantum hacking?
No, I don't think it's going to help you. But if you have $1 million in one wallet, it's going to make you a target in a way that having $100,000 is not.
Interesting. It's interesting to think about how,
right, like if
the OPSEC it becomes critical when this becomes a lot more mainstream.
Yeah, just from where are they going to start first, right? They're going to look at the wallets that have the most money in them to break, and that's going to be where they try and deal with first. And also, are they really going to be worried about us, or are they going to use those computers to hack Binance?
Personally, I think they're going to start. They're going to
don't keep your money on exchanges, people.
Exactly. They're going to do exchanges and actual real bank accounts, and they're going to force people into crypto. That's what they're going to use the quantum AI computing to hack. But I think they're going to start with famous people, celebrities, movie stars, and then we're all going to be like, oh no, our bank accounts are getting hacked, and switch it off to crypto. And there'll be quantum resistant crypto with that little stamp of approval on it that it's ISO certified, quantum resistant, blah, 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 blah. All your wallets will have the same thing.
Mike,
get ready.
There we go. Okay, so when I was mining Bitcoin, I obviously got down the rabbit hole in this stuff. I like to think about it logically. Okay, if we're gonna have quantum chips, and we're gonna have quantum computing, can we not, obviously, the mining manufacturers are also gonna have access to these chips, which will also increase the hash rate significantly. which will make it even more difficult. So we just have quantum computers fighting quantum computers. And even just besides that altogether, you can easily move from 256 to something a little higher. And then I was actually going down. Actually, funny, I was watching a video on this earlier this weekend, and they're saying there are going to be wallet upgrades. There's going to be different upgrades to different wallets in the future. But I think right now, when you make a purchase, you use like the public address, and you can link it, and they use the same address. So in the future, it'll be like the address will never be used ever again. So like it'll be a separate address every time, kind of like what a ledger does. There's a different address every time that you make a transaction and mix with a new public address.
I think that a lot of the worry too is like people that can't necessarily switch to another wallet. Like there's the original Satoshi wallets that nobody has access to them. There's tons of wallets out there that, you know, people from way back in the day were mining and they lost access to them through one method or another. And like that was like way back when Bitcoin was worth like next to nothing. So now they're like worth a ton of money. And like, even if you're not necessarily like, if you're able to move into a new wallet, if those things start getting hacked or like accessed by quantum computing or other methods, I mean, that's going to create a lot of fear. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from. And also like there's like I know here in Canada, there's like the 25% tariffs, but I did see Trump there said something about like the BRICS nations there, and that if they kept using BRICS, that they were going to get like 100% tariff. So like that's a lot of countries too that they might switch over to Bitcoin. So that's even more people trying to pull it out or something else.
Yeah, that whole
Oh man, what a gameplay!
When you think about like
what a gameplay by Trump.
What's that?
I said, what a gameplay by Trump. He basically buys up a bunch of Bitcoin, tells all the BRIC nations, I'm gonna tax the shit out of you fuckers. You either drop this BRICS and buy Bitcoin and fill my pockets, or you're gonna fill my pockets anyway. What a fucking chess game, man. This is literally financial World War IV. That's what this is. We're in World War IV right now, J-Chance. Financial style.
The fourth
cryptocurrency war.
We've always called crypto, said it was going to be the fourth industrial revolution, right? Blockchain is, and I think, you know, obviously we're seeing the financial system change. We're seeing the tokenization. A lot of it, we'll see the stock market switch to 24 hours because of crypto. Well, you know, it is going to change a lot of the shit that we already know, or is already changing a lot of the shit that we already know. It's wild to think that this was the year. You know, if you've been in crypto and you kind of been a student of blockchain for a number of years, like I have, and I know not a lot of people in this room, it's, you know, this is that moment. You know, it's kind of, I made some tweet the other day, and we joked about it a little bit, I think, about having that, you know, that moment of like, I fucking told you. You know, all those years going to, you know, Christmas or holidays or whatever it was, family reunions, and you get that question, oh, how's your crypto thing going? It's like, it's fucking going, man. We're building, you know, building planes.
If you're even still invited.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, that's true. But at the end of the day, like, it's validation finally that, you know, not only is it fucking expensive, Bitcoin is, crypto was a massive talking point about the election. And it is a massive thing about what's happening in the economic sector of the world. Like, we are now, this is finance. This is what it is. Like, we're part of it. We made it. We're mainstream, and it's happening right now. And now this is the moment that I've been here since 2017. This is the moment basically we've been waiting for since then. We didn't really want institutional money to be the paver of it, but hey, guess what? It is what it is. They had the money to make it happen. There's a lot of things in life that move that way, that it might be your idea, but somebody else has the money to make it happen. And this is where we are.
Bitcoin may be too big to fail very shortly.
I think we are. Honestly, I think it already is. Like, at too much at stake to let it a little issue not be solved by some of the world's greatest minds to help prop it back up again. I mean, we can always just print money and Bitcoin go up, right? So I mean,
that's what USDT is doing.
What happens though? What happens, guys? I've never really asked this question to a group of people, but what happens when we do run out of fiat? What do we base crypto on when the US dollar is taken out and we're just left with cryptocurrencies. When it all push comes to shove, how are we judging its value? Is it like one Satoshi equals $1, or
one Satoshi
what do we
equals
do
one
then?
Satoshi. That's it, man. One Bitcoin is one
Probably
Bitcoin.
the
We get that when
that happened.
when we get to that
20
point, that's where we are.
20 Satoshis. Are we at a minimum wage of 20 Satoshis an hour then, or what do we base it on?
How much is that? How much
That's
is a Bitcoin?
that's the thing with currency, right? Like, what do we start basing it on?
See,
Bitcoins
that's
per
why, in my
oil,
opinion,
or
in
Bitcoins per carbon credit? Like, what do we do there?
I love all this talk and I love all of the things in the conversation, but in my humble opinion, and ching chang, there's some money in the jar. Bitcoin will never be the currency. It will never be that. It doesn't have what it takes. And
I agree.
Oh, you're trying to start a fight now.
yeah, that's okay.
It's too slow.
But
I was in a
But
Dogecoin.
let's just say theoretically, fiat really starts to crash, and
You get a
and
CBDC.
Bitcoin.
CBDCs are coming. That's what's going to happen, and it'll be back.
Do we lock it into gold? A Satoshi backed gold reserve?
So that's what
Gold, platinum, palladium.
That's what BRICS is doing, right? BRICS is backing the BRICS dollar with half Bitcoin and half gold, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that exactly. It's going to be the opposite. We won't be pegging things to the dollar. We'll be pegging things to Bitcoin theoretically, right?
That's why you would have the strategic.
Yeah, but then how do we? Yeah, but then how do we call Bitcoin $1 million? We really don't. We just call it Bitcoin 10 kilos of gold.
I see what
you
you're
know,
saying.
like,
Well, we
probably
where does
wouldn't.
that market
We
break
would
down?
call $1.01 Satoshis.
Man, this is getting fucked up. It's crazy. It's like, it's for real though. Like, if we stop going on dollars, like what? Yeah, what?
When
everybody's gonna change when
Bitcoin's
we talk
market
to our
cap
currency.
flips, when
Well, we
market
did that in
cap
73
flips
when
the
we went
US
to the gold
dollar,
standard. Oh shit! Sorry, Neil. I see you down there.
I think it's gonna take some great minds. There's gonna be some scholars, university endowments, all sorts of people in the next 10 years. They're all gonna be debating and putting their minds to this exact question: is, what happens when we do the big switcheroo here? And all fiat currencies through history have fallen. A lot of them, their average is around 100 to 300 years. I guess we're right in there with the US dollar as strong as it's been.
Technically, 92 years is the average since 1480, when reserve currencies became a thing, and I believe Spain was the first one, if I'm not mistaken. So we've had 92 years as the average shelf life of any reserve currency.
We've had a great run with the United States dollar. I think it's probably even older than that, right? The USD.
But as the reserve currency of the world.
Yeah.
Oh well, shit! We got all these. We got all these fucking hands.
We got hands, baby.
I know you Yanks don't like talking about the death of the dollar, and I definitely don't pray for that day to come anytime soon.
And these hands, they're about to fall off.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
It's going to happen, though, unfortunately. But let's go Neil, and then let's go Foley. GM, gentlemen.
I just thought it was kind of funny thinking about like Michael Saylor spending these hundreds of billions of dollars or whatever, and then maybe at some point those hundreds of billion dollars ain't worth shit anyway.
Ain't gonna be worth nothing
because they've been printed to hell.
It's a good bet. If that happens, he made a great bet. He used fucking paper to buy value.
That's a good point. Just thinking of it on face value, it kind of sounds funny,
Hey guys, good morning. How's it going?
Foley, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Chilling, man. Not bad for a Monday. We've got the markets. They are doing their thing. We got Bitcoin back at 105, up 2.25% today. Let's go.
I know I need to push my puts out, so I'm gonna go further than I thought I was, but we'll get that done here in a minute. But this is a great conversation, and I just I can't believe that governments are going to let their currency go away. And so my take on this whole thing is Bitcoin's the new gold, right? Gold still exists, but the next stage or phase of this whole thing is interoperability. So just like we have foreign exchange today, tomorrow you're going to be able to use one coin to buy something, trade it on another coin. And as soon as that happens, I think fiat just becomes digital. So, whether it's the current stable coins that exist or tomorrow it's a new USD coin and a new yen and a new mark and whatever, like, I think ultimately governments will just create a layer 2 or layer 3 of their own currency. It'll all be interoperable, and it'll probably still be based on the US dollar digital version. Because fiat hasn't been based on anything since, I don't know, 1930 or 1920 or whenever we went off the gold reserve, right? So it's all been a big pyramid scheme for a long time. So that's my take on it. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, though.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you right there. We got, and going back to, I do want to mention when we were talking, and I'll be a victim of going back, but I do want to make sure that I mention, I got a text message from Corey, and we were talking about the quantum computing. He said that could instantly query every private key with a balance on it with that quantum computing. So watch out, man. That's some scary shit. Shout out to Corey for the text message. Thank you, sir.
That being said, too, even hackers, they target those big wallets, guys. So if you guys make it big here in this next little bull run, split up your wallets. Don't have huge balances. Don't be showing off pictures on your Twitter handles and things like that. Just, secure yourself, secure your funds, make sure you're safe.
Operational security, or OPSEC, as they say. There was a time.
And I'll say the biggest thing right now is people are sending like a Zoom call request, and it drains your wallet. So you got to be careful with that one.
I know. And what sucks is that from what I understand, they are typically people posing as job opportunities in Web3. And, so people are something, you wouldn't think would be the way that that's coming at you. But unfortunately, guys, that is, one of the scams. And as bull runs get heavier and the money gets bigger, the scammers, they come out more and more. So you just got to be vigilant. Stay vigilant, as they say.
I wonder how that even works. If you click a link, for example, you're on your PC, and your PC doesn't have your wallet on it, how do you get drained? Unless it's on the phone, you click it on your phone, and your phone's linked to it. There has to be a device that's linked to your crypto wallets, right?
I think it puts a keylogger on it. At least, like, that's kind of what happened to me when I got hacked back in September. Luckily with me, when it happened, I didn't access my wallets. But they were able to get into like my Google account, so that my Google password manager. So they got access to my Twitter through that. But I luckily didn't save like any of my wallet information to that. And like my stuff wasn't touched. Like I took it off, moved it to a different computer, and I had to factory reset this one. But yeah, it was like the same thing. It was a Zoom link, and they had hacked like an account of someone I've known for a long time. And they reached out to me asking if I could help them with a podcast that they were starting. And it seemed very legit. It was a person from Alberta, and they're kind of older. They speak in a certain way. And they had clearly gone through their messages and knew kind of how they communicate. So I didn't even think twice about it. Clicked the link, and it was all over the crying.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yo, we got tons of Canadians up here, and I think Beardo wins the award for saying a boot the best.
I would agree.
Hey, shout out to the my bad, Jay changed. I was just gonna, instead of shouting out YouTube, I was gonna shout out the 51st state.
Governor Trudeau, Governor Castro Jr.
You think Canada becomes the 51st state before Puerto Rico?
Hey, papi. I don't know.
I should hope so, man. I was gonna relocate to the States, but this seems a lot more convenient if you guys just come to me.
Bro,
I'm gonna apply for senator of Ontario for sure.
That'd be hilarious. Or you better be Web3 friendly.
Hey, I got a question.
We got hopefully an answer.
I got a question for you.
Yo, what's up?
All right, here we go. What if the United States pulls and Argentina cuts government spending, starts paying off its debt, and the dollar turns back strong again. I know. I see you laughing, Postmaster.
Woo!
That's like outlandish. But
No, honestly, no, it's not outlandish. I don't think this is going to be the cycle that destroys the U.S. dollar. I actually think that we were actually going to have a $500,000 Bitcoin if Kamala got into office there, and I think it's going to be cut short to like 200K this time because Trump's in office. He comes, he solves all the problems for the next 4 years, prosperity, woohoo! And I'm just hoping, I'm praying that we have a Trump dynasty, and like we have like this like Trump card that gets pulled, and Ivanka Trump is the first female Republican president, and then we got 8 more years of Trump, and then then we got Byron coming up, or maybe Don Jr. Like. I'm hoping it's a Trump dynasty down there, and they clean things up for sure.
Well, I heard
10 to 12 years before chaos.
I heard Steve O'Bannon was saying it was at the Young Republicans Club last night that basically he should just run again in 2028 because he didn't get they weren't successful terms after each other. So I think we'll just rewrite history and we're gonna go with it. But it's so funny, there was during the first Trump presidency, my dad had a surgery, and he's just a staunch Democrat, and it's really funny. And so when he came out of surgery, when he first woke up, he was asking some things, and I was like, oh, it's just by the way, we're into year 12 of the Trump of Emperor Trump. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, I'm just kidding with you. Settle down, old man. But I mean, you gotta have fun. Did someone just have a
J Chains is grounded.
Yeah.
J Chains is still grounded to this day.
No, dude.
Yeah, he has to sneak out just to hang out with us.
Yeah. I have a little ladder that I throw out my window. I did that one time where I went out the window off to the roof and jumped down. And I only ever had to do that once. Not a fan.
Can we segue with this Trump thing into World Liberty Financial buying these tokens? I think you started the show with that. We never actually talked about it.
Yeah.
What's the ticker?
Ondo.
The ticker is fucking Ondo.
Fucking Ondo.
Yo, I've been hearing about this Ondo. I want to know more.
Oh, guys,
fill me full of fucking Ondo, J Chains. Let's hear it, brother.
Oh, this is
why am I an Ondo fan now?
Can we go stupid person to smart person, J Chains?
Yeah. So basically,
you can fucking full on white paper me.
So I'll go first as the stupid person. Ondo is this awesome thing. It's a cryptocurrency. I think it's RWA adjacent. It's one of the leaders in that segment. And a wonderful friend of mine, J Chains, and many others have been talking about it since it was down in the 50 to 70 cent range this past year. Recently, the World Liberty Financial token took $250,000 of its hard-earned raised money from definitely not Americans and purchased $250,000 of Ondo to the tune yesterday night, thus pumping the price of Ondo to all-time highs of, I believe, $2.16.
Yeah.
It's big news.
Whoa.
Big news for people who've been supporting.
So you guys 6x that already?
I don't know.
Yeah, this is going to be this is in my opinion, a $20 coin, and it's at $2 right now, right?
Wow, 20 or what market cap place are we at?
2.1 billion.
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of room. Okay, J Chains, give me the smart pitch now.
All right.
Before you do that, put some more money.
This is TradFi meets DeFi is basically what this is. This is the tokenization of absolutely everything you can. Partnership with BlackRock. They manage the BUIDL fund, which is OUSG and USDY. I believe that's right. USDY and OUSG are the two coins that have to do with the BUIDL fund through BlackRock. And so they settle all that. And then they have partnership with just about every other project that you can imagine on a massive level to really bring tokenization to scale. And so partnerships alone, for me, honestly, I hear that they have a partnership with BlackRock. BlackRock doesn't lose. They don't play this game to fucking lose at all, right? And their whole, Larry Fink he's the one who came out and said that, the tokenization of real world assets, that's the new economy. That's it. That's the new financial markets. You can't argue against when someone like that speaks that kind of that whole thing about where this is going. Conservatively, that ecosystem said 16 to 30 trillion by 2030, probably more like 50 trillion. And that's just a number of years away. That's like one of the reasons why I have a hard time believing that we are going to end this cycle, or that we're not going to pull away from Bitcoin and let it, if it wants to do its 4-year thing, let it. But this ecosystem in this industry is getting too big. It's becoming far too important to run on what's just the 4-year cycle. That just doesn't work. Even though it's predictable, air quotes, it doesn't work. And so that being said, RWAs, man, that's where it's at. They are the leader in the RWA space. They will continue to be the leader because of who they are positioned with. And so that's it, man. That's I put a probably, some would say, an irresponsible percentage of my portfolio into Ondo, but it is paying the fuck off. That's for sure. And it will continue.
Yeah, it looks like it, man. So this to me, it looks like it's a Ethereum layer 2. Is that right?
It is. Yeah, it is on Ethereum. Yep. And so you get like, you'll
okay,
get the
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
It's a tokenized asset being used by institutions to settle real world assets on privatized institutional marketplaces. Is that
yeah, like, so yeah, like say the Biddle fund, right? Again, BlackRock. So it uses the OUSG and the USDY coins to help facilitate that. And I believe that there is some settlement or transaction that has to do with actually Ondo, the coin itself. That's why it is, there is relevance there. So
okay. So they're generating revenue through the use of institutional grade.
Yeah,
and use the token on a back end.
Big thing to note, and this scares the shit out of a lot of people. My plan is, I'll lay out the plan afterward, but on January 18th, 134% of the current circulating supply. So it's a 10 billion token total supply. Right now, there's like 1.3 billion, almost 1.4 billion circulating. So they're ready to add 134% of that to the circulating supply on January 18th. So a big unlock. But depending on how things go, if there's been a pretty big run up, and like I said, this may be a good opportunity to scale out and see what happens, or you just set it and forget it, man. And I'm kind of at the point where I might want to just set it and forget it, and just see what happens with the unlock. There have been some other unlocks in the historical crypto that they get eaten right up. And this is a bull market. We'll see how January goes. That also may be the time that we cool down. So if we're seeing a cool down, then it may be time to, I don't know. You always want to sit on the sidelines, and it's always the great idea is like, oh, I'm going to tether this off, or I'm going to stable this off because, I'm going to wait for it to go down and I'm going to buy back in. But then you never quite fucking catch what you want. And you're like, damn it, I missed it. You know what I mean? So like, is it better to just sit on your hands and just don't check the price for a month? Or do you try to play the market?
I think it depends.
All depends on how much time you got. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, sure, but I think it just depends on the unlock for the particular token. We talked about Ondo's unlock last week. Of that 2.6 billion tokens that are coming available on the 18th. 430 million are private sale, so that's going to be dumped on the market. Could be dumped on the market. 1.1 billion is for protocol development, so I'm assuming that's internal unlock. Who knows what they're going to do with that. Community access sale is another 200 million that are coming out. So that is possibly good. Like if it would have been the opposite and 1 billion Ondo tokens was hitting the private sale market, that's a 100% increase to the circulating supply,
right?
That are going to hit the market.
And you see a lot of sell pressure there, but I think we're all of the opinion that the sell pressure is not going to be as great as some people have made it out to be.
No, I don't agree with that. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I think it won't be as extreme as some people think, but I think it'll be more extreme than people who hold a big bag of Ondo think.
All right, give me the cons, J-Chain. I know you got a little, it's not a 10 out of 10.
And also the market
what's
cap.
The cons of the Ondo?
2.8 billion right now.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
just
know,
went through the coin market cap, taking a look at the website. Everything looks great on this thing. It looks like,
so I would say that
and-
the uncertainty of the unlock is the biggest of the cons for me, right? Like the market cap sitting at a $2 billion market cap, about ready to go parabolic. I mean, sending those things up to it from that, we've talked about this before, like, from 3 to 30 trillion is really not that hard to do in a bull run, especially with a great token. So this has 10x potential to it, 100%. Like I told you, this is, in my opinion, this is a $25 token is what I thought. I've heard a lot of other credible people talking like they think it's a $20 token. So I'll give it more of a benefit of the doubt. Like, honestly, when we get to 2030, I think it's a $200 token. Right. I've always said this is probably it's more than 100. It's probably more than 150. It's probably somewhere between 150 and 175 is where this thing will top out at by 2030. It could go way more, and it could obviously do far less than that. But knowing what we know, who they play with, what the purpose is, and what the potentials are, I'm really bullish on it. Now, if it doesn't meet expectations, it doesn't meet expectations. What are you going to do? But so far, it's doing well. I mean, as far as the let's see, gainers on the week. You've got some Virtuals protocol. I don't really know a whole lot about that, but that's up 85%. And then you got Aave, that's up 35% in the week. And then BitGet tokens 28. And then you got Ondo's 22. So it's a big pumper on the week. Maybe time to think about profits, especially if it gets back up closer to the all-time high. It's taking a little bit of a dip right now. Looks like the TradFi boys didn't pump us immediately, but we're okay. Man, it'll happen at some point.
But I mean, if you get a 6x out of it, are you not excited? I mean, like if you were somebody that was trying to get in now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
it seems like all of the like the institutional grade things are popping. We had XRP lead off the charge, and Hedera, and anything that's really tied to anything stock market and real world assets have already been the star of the show so far. So I think it's probably going to continue that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where the money is. Like we don't have the retail people, and I think we can go back to some of the conversations that we've had where, when we get into next year, and again we make that shift where, now the government says it's cool, this is what we're doing, like it's official, we've got a Bitcoin reserve, crypto is okay for you. That's when retail will start to come back in. That's when the normal people at some point next year, and that's what a lot of that's going to be geared up for, the second push, right? But I think this whole push that we're seeing right now is institutional. We know that, for the most part, some people, you may have, gotten a buddy or a cousin or somebody to know that you're into crypto from the last run, and they asked you how it was going, and they hear about it again now, so they're asking you. But I would tell you, for the most part, most normal people aren't paying attention quite yet, even though we're well over 100K, which to me was a big psychological level. It didn't quite hit and cause the stir like I thought it was going to. That's for sure. What you got, Mike?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. It makes total sense to me because, back in 2021, when we had the whole FTX thing and the whole Super Bowl, Tom Brady and all the celebrities promoting it, everybody got butthurt, everybody lost faith and trust in crypto. It almost reinforced the fact that, crypto's for criminals and scammers and blah, blah. And it's like, if you were thinking that way, that only just reinforced your thought. But now, when governments, what do normies do? Normies just regurgitate the fucking news, right? So when it becomes on your news channels, when the government's doing it, when the president's talking about it, it gives it that air of legitimacy that's not a celebrity. And I think you're right. I think there will be retail backing. I think that normies will go, oh my God, I heard about this person. Oh my God, it's 100K. You know what I mean? Like just a natural thing, and people just follow through.
And if we look historically back to 2020, another big psychological level that we broke at the end of 2020 was 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that a lot of people felt the same way. Like, yo, where are all these retail people at? We just broke 25,000 for the first time. That's crazy. Why isn't anybody showing up? I don't think retail is going to be here for a while. And whether that's because they got burned, or whether it's because Tom Brady, or whether it's because, crypto's a scam, I don't know what the reason is, but it seems like retail comes in towards the second half of the bull run, Like they're just starting to come in right now. If you go and look at the YouTube videos of like some of those larger creators, like again, the Elio Trades or the fucking Alex Beckers, their numbers are up, but their numbers are not like they were 2021 October. So like those people just aren't here yet. And
Right.
I also was kind of expecting them to show up around 100,000. And then I was like, wait, why would they show up around 100,000? This is still kind of in the dark. It's just not like that for us. Like Bitcoin breaking 100,000 hit some news channels. That was the first time any of my normie friends were kind of like, oh, hey, Bitcoin again, right? But they haven't mentioned it again since. It was just kind of a flash in the pan, like, oh, 100,000, but they didn't really think too much about it. And I don't think they will. Again, you'll start seeing, like you're seeing right now on TikTok with these shit coins and get rich, blah, 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 blah. People are so wary of that for good reason.
Right.
But when you see people getting rich off Bitcoin, you know Bitcoin. And like, oh, I could have bought Bitcoin. I'm going to go buy Bitcoin. Or, oh, Dogecoin is pumping again. Oh, I used to have Dogecoin. I think that's a lot of an easier transition than like, oh, hey, I'm going to buy Chill Guy on my Phantom wallet. It's a young man's game to do that kind of shit. And for retail to really come in, we don't need 20-year-olds. We need 40-year-olds.
No, and you know it's a really good question. And listen, I know that meme coins and utility coins and culture coins and all that stuff have a big place in where we're going. But when we do see the retail people come in, and maybe we can talk about this tomorrow, because I know it's probably time to skedaddle. But like, what are people like? If you're into meme coins, like you're already here, right? Like there's really not, there should be no expectation that we're gonna get this huge retail push and they're all gonna want meme coins. Like, nah, like they're probably gonna be a little bit smarter, right? Hopefully.
No, smart is not what I think of when I think of retail.
More informed,
but
more informed. If they listen to the breakfast show,
complicated.
they listen to the breakfast show, they know what to do. That's all I can say.
I think it's just too complicated, right? Like what, they're going to come in and then open a Binance account and then send money to their Phantom wallet and then buy meme coins? I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like it's much more likely they open a Binance account and buy MOG or Pepe or Doge or SHIB or WIF or one of those meme coins.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I can't.
Hey man, just to leave us.
Just what?
My bad. Go ahead, Jay James. Go ahead. I know you weren't done yet. Go ahead.
No. I just don't know. I feel like in my heart, like if you're already a degen into meme coins, for the most part, you're already here. We'll see a few more people show up, but my goal is that we get more of the informed investors coming into the space, and we make this thing a little bit more positive. Positive's not the right word. I'll figure out my words and I'll be better tomorrow. What you got, Frank?
Of course, you're gonna call on me when I take a bite of my biscuit.
Did you dip the biscuits in honey?
Oh no, man. So I was gonna say, I was sitting here eating my ultimate bacon biscuit, and you said the breakfast morning show, and I got to thinking, I was like, why is this the breakfast morning show if he asks us a pizza order every Friday? Like, he never asked us what we eat for breakfast. He just asked what we're going to eat for dinner.
Well, I'll just assume that you guys eat waffles and coffee every morning like me.
Wait, pizza's not a breakfast food?
Oh, you can get, we talked about that in the chat group the other day about an Eggs Benedict pizza. And I'm telling you, man, that actually sounds incredible. I got to try that.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do, I got to figure out how to make a pizza crust like an English muffin. Now that would be amazing. That's something I would try for sure.
Any bread makers in the house? Swing by tomorrow. Teach us how to make English muffins.
Just see, my wife is fantastic at making fresh bread. Last night she made a loaf of, she roasted some garlic and then threw all the roasted garlic and the oil and shit in the dough and then made this loaf of roasted garlic bread. Oh my God, it was delicious. I'll have her make an English muffin pizza. No, pizza's my job. I got to do it. I just got to learn how to make English muffins. So yeah, we need an English muffin guy or gal. All right. That's it. I'm sorry. Thank you for being the first one to say that and me just actually saying the same thing you did. But have a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you at 4 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back for we'll talk about some news and some numbers, maybe get into some trades, see what's going on. We'll have some fun. So I believe that Believes and I will be doing that together. That's Monday. Today is Monday, so that's the plan. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. If you are watching on YouTube, smash
we're
the like.
about to break 106.
What's that?
Approaching 106. Approaching 106 again.
Bitcoin is?
Yeah, 105, 70, 750.
Well, I need Ondo to go back up. So I think all the money's in Bitcoin right now. So
You need Ondo to go back up.
yeah, obviously since Bitcoin started pumping, Ondo went down.
All-time high wasn't good enough for you?
Yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Call me a one-trick pony. Call me a lover, but don't call me in love, because I am not married to my bag. I just know that it's going to make me some money. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I love you. Smash the like, hit the heart, do the things you got to do. And we'll be back tomorrow with more Web3 Breakfast at 9 a.m. Eastern, but I will be back at 4 p.m. today. Again, we'll talk news and numbers on the Jay Shane Show. Adios, amigos. Ciao for now. Hasta luego.